Hi, I'm Stephen with Alberta urbangarden.ca. On today's episode, we're going to talk about honeybees and how they can improve our urban landscape. Often, plants require the pollen from one flower to actually go and fertilize another flower. If you don't have this pollination, crops can drop significantly. According to a 2011 United Nations report, of the nearly 100 crop species that provide over 90% of the food worldwide, 70 of them require pollination by bees. Of the well over 20,000 species of bees known worldwide, they fall into general categories based on life cycle, physiology, and habits. These include stingless bees, bumblebees, honeybees, and African honeybees. Honeybees are commonly used for agricultural pollination and are critical for the success of whole crops such as almonds, apples, grapes, and strawberries, just to name a few. Often in the country, you'll find these hives tucked away in fields. It is reported by the United Nations that honeybees account for approximately $200 billion worth of crops worldwide in 2005. The first few years that I gardened at this house, I noticed that there was a lack of production in the garden, and this is likely attributed to a low concentration of pollinators. This last year, I was absolutely thrilled to find mason bees in the garden. What they do is they're very solitary bees. They're part of that bumblebee category that we just spoke about. And they live their lives basically almost alone. They bumble about their business and they produce just enough for their offspring to have a chance. Anecdotally, I did notice an increase in production of my garden just because we had the pollinators there. That said, I would like to add honeybees to my property. Honeybees in an urban environment can have a number of benefits to the community. This includes pollination. More healthy local food is produced because bees from a single hive can travel as far as 6.5 kilometers or 4 miles from their hive foraging for pollen and nectar. This means one hive can have a great impact on the pollination rates within its radius. Honeybees have very basic food requirements. They collect pollen and nectar from the flowers. They convert the nectar into honey, and this constitutes their food source. The only other thing that they need is a source of water, for which they can forage from a leaky faucet, a local fountain. Honeybees do require enough honey to overwinter the colony. However, if there are surpluses of honey during the year, you can actually collect that, and they can make a wide variety of products, from simply honey all the way to, say, brewing a mead. Some urban hives have been reported to collect between 45 and 55 kilograms of honey per year. This is between about 100 to 120 pounds. This does greatly depend on the location and the quality of the forage available. The wax from honeybees can also be used in a number of different types of products, from beauty products all the way through to medicinal purposes, and including the basic one, candles. The third product that you can harvest from honeybees is a product called propolis. Bees apply it to the inner surfaces of their hive in order to keep bacteria and fungi down. So if you harvest this material has antibacterial and antifungal properties and can be used in a wide variety of medicinal uses. Honey, wax, and propolis can be developed into a number of different commercial products and can stimulate your local economy through small business. Further small business opportunities exist in the creation and selling of hive equipment and the propagating of bees, such as queens. So the natural inclination right now is to think about your children and yourself. So are these honeybees going to sting me or my children? Generally, honeybees are quite a docile insect and only really get defensive when something is off. Generally, these bees are only going to sting if their hive or an individual are under attack, meaning this is more of a defensive as opposed to an aggressive reaction. An observant beekeeper should be able to keep all of these problems at bay, meaning you're not going to have these issues. And to boot, if you get more than a few meters away and don't have line of sight on the hive itself, you won't be able to tell that there's a honeybee hive in the neighborhood. So circling back to the question at hand. Generally, neighborhoods already have native species and populations of things like bees, wasps, hornets, that are going to be the ones that are going to sting. And the presence of a honeybee hive will not significantly increase your risk of being stung while outside. In some municipal jurisdictions, there are restrictions on having urban honeybees in your neighborhood. You'll want to check this before. However, here in Canada, there's a large movement going on right now to ease or lift these restrictions completely. Internationally, cities like New York and Paris have lifted these restrictions, allowing urban honeybees and a sprawling small business community to develop. One of the other challenges is education, both of the beekeepers and the public. Urban honeybees can have a great impact on our communities, and the cornerstone of this success is through positive education. Luckily, here in Alberta, much like other places in the world, there is great information, not only online, but in courses to support proper and healthy development of an urban honeybee community. Ultimately, a cooperative approach with honeybees and our community can result in not only a greater production from our backyard gardens that is healthier and more positive for your family, but these small business opportunities exist to further enrich our communities. And that further enrichment can lead to a greater connection with our land, our community, and our culture. On the next bee-related episode, we're going to talk about the worldwide decline of honeybee pollinators through colony collapse disorder and what you can do in your local community to help. If you'd like more information, I have a recommended channel for you. Bill's Bee Vlog channel takes you through the day-to-day of keeping bees in a treatment-free method. I highly recommend his channel, so please, if you'd like more information, go check him out. Thank you for spending time with me today. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.